CapitalWeatherGang.com. Thank you so much for tuning in to our weekly Sunday Sunset Chat. The temperatures are in focus this week. We swing from very warm for this time of year to kind of chilly and closer to average by the end of this week. So we'll deal with some temperature swings. We'll deal with some we'll deal with not only temperature swings, but some precipitation, and some wind is also in focus as well. I'm Cameron Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. This is our weekly Sunday Sunset Chat. Thanks so much for tuning in, Winston, Mary, and Jamel. And let's see, I've got to load my comments for Facebook, X, YouTube, and Instagram. Good evening, David. Thanks for tuning in from Facebook. The animation of the temperatures below, you'll see warm colors, some 60s, if not flirting with 70 by Wednesday. And then on Tuesday, we've got shower chances moving back in, maybe some wind Tuesday night, Wednesday, and Thursday. Gusts near 40 miles per hour can't be ruled out as a cold front moves through, and you can see we get awfully cool again before the week is over. And pollen is going to be in the air as we get warm in the early part of this week. So we'll talk about pollen levels for you allergy sufferers, fellow allergy sufferers as well. Hello, Maria. Hello, Kristen. Thanks so much for tuning in. Winston, can you hear me at this point on Instagram? Please keep me posted. It looks like I have a good level sounding on Facebook and X. And JRP, thanks for tuning in as well. And Mary, indeed, pollen is in the air. All right, it looks like we have maybe Instagram silence. I apologize for that. Maybe that helps with the audio. It looks like maybe that is a little bit better for Instagram as well. Okay, thank you for Heavy and Moms. We've got feedback that I think you can hear me now. All right, Lewis, thanks for that feedback. Good audio quality there on Facebook. So now that we have the kinks worked out, let's go into the wind expected for tomorrow. Pretty easy to say, gusts maybe near 15 miles per hour, not a big deal. There's forecasts at a glance in my PM update there at the top. But wind tomorrow, not a big deal. I think wind will stay under control until maybe Tuesday night, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's kind of the time frame, middle part of the week, that we could see some gusts near 25, 40 miles per hour. Can't be ruled out as our cold front comes through. So that is something to keep in mind as we kind of have this temperature swing in the middle part of this week. Clouds are dominating a little more than half of this week. I think our sunniest days are Monday and then again on Thursday after the cold front comes through. Precipitation, it might look a little bit intimidating as the cold front comes through on Thursday. But overall, I'll show you that kind of precipitation is fairly limited this week. The amounts anyway might not add up to too much, even if we do see a couple rumbles of thunder indicated here above. Maybe Wednesday night time frame, we could see a couple rumbles of thunder. Generally, these are showers though, not too much rain, maybe a couple downpours Wednesday night as the cold front comes through, but the timing is still to be determined and not set in stone yet as the cold front moves through later this week. And rain amounts by the time you talk to me next Sunday for our weekly Sunday Sunset Chat, kind of moderate in the half-inch range, plus or minus, for much of the region. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate seeing you on Instagram, X, YouTube, and Facebook. David, I don't think so far severe weather looks probable for Wednesday night and Thursday. Thank you so much. Mary, thanks for the feedback. Really appreciate your support on Facebook as well. Hi, Kristen. Hi, Charlotte and Sharon. Really appreciate you tuning in. And let's go through the mid part of kind of the temperatures and precipitation for next work week. It's leaning, look at that, with almost high probability that we're above average on average for all of next work week. It is heavily leaning toward above average temperatures, and precipitation has a good bet of being above average for next work week as well. So in the kind of medium term, temperatures looking warmer than not, and precipitation looking a little wetter than not. Not good for snow lovers, I'm sorry, but in the meantime, gosh, we could use some snow, but spring is starting to spring in the region with pollen high in the tree category. Most allergy sufferers, as indicated below in the allergy central allergen extract lab, they are predicting most allergy sufferers to experience some symptoms this week. Charlie, sorry about no sound for a couple of you on Instagram. It's funny how it's going in and out. But it looks like, Hassan, I don't know if I want to commit to no more snow and that's going to be completely spring. Scott, on YouTube, you have the same question. But I think you will be interested if you are a spring weather lover that we do have the announcement by the National Park Service this week. We'll give you coverage on CapitalWeatherGang.com for the peak bloom date. And of course, Drought is doing fine. We're doing fine in the precipitation category in the region. Only a couple yellow spots there in North Carolina for abnormally dry conditions. All right, let me catch up on questions and comments. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. The temperature animation below is warm. We soar into the 60s tomorrow. Then shower conditions maybe start coming back into the area midday Tuesday afternoon. Windiness could pick up Tuesday night, Wednesday into Thursday, but not before on Wednesday. We could flirt with the 70-degree mark before swinging down at the end of this week. It's going to get a little bit cooler by the end of this week. So do keep that in mind. We are, going to swing temperatures from high on the early part of the week to cooler at the end of this week, and maybe some showers this weekend a little bit as well. So I can't completely rule that out. All right, let me know on X, Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube if you have any questions. Spring is indeed springing, David. I love that on Facebook. Thank you. And allergies started last week for you, Mary. I am not surprised. I've woken up sneezing before. It is not pleasant. Rick, the drought indeed is doing fine in the mountains. As you probably saw a second ago, just some spots in North Carolina, abnormally dry, but not in the drought category. So cherry blossoms are going to be coming out again on Buster this Thursday, the 29th. The National Park Service on the National Mall will have an update for all of us going forward for the peak bloom prediction date. But keep in mind, the first of six stages of the bloom has not even started for the cherry blossoms on the tidal basin. Rick, you're most welcome. Deidre, I can't find snow for you just yet. I'm sorry. Buster, most welcome. And our last freeze, Jessica, I think in the mountains closer, like along the I-81 corridor, typically closer to Mother's Day. I think you might want to stay a little bit spry until mid-April, maybe tax day or so around the DC area, just in case. Maybe keep some of those sensitive plants in pots so you can bring them inside. Really, even if we have warm daytime temperatures, we still run the risk until into April for some frost and freeze conditions in our region. Hello, Charlie, no polar vortex. Thanks for that question on Instagram. Good seeing you. Johnny, good seeing you on Instagram, as well as Smitty and Jake and Grunder and Bradley and Paul and 1950 Roth and Sunshine Kate. Good seeing all of you on Instagram. Thanks so much for tuning in. Let's see, Char Danielle. I agree with you. Allergies have indeed gone a bit haywire. So let's jump to that really quick. Let's talk about how we have cherry blossoms, potentially that announcement coming on Thursday, and not, too unrelated. We have the blossom prediction coming out on the 29th. So first here above, right here where the pollen allergies, they're high. Make sure you check out the species of tree under there, just in case you're not allergic to all the trees. You could maybe see your species and have an outsized reaction to the pollen level. So even though it says high, and most allergy sufferers will feel some effects from high tree pollen levels, it's really not until you see the particular species that you're most sensitive to that you might have your worst allergies of the season. It's kind of, it's hard to predict sometimes as a fellow allergy sufferer. And again, blossom prediction coming out from the National Park Service on the mall on the 29th. So we'll keep you posted at CapitalWeatherGang.com on the blog 24/7. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. And of course, thanks for joining me for our weekly Sunday Sunset Chat, live Q&A on Instagram, X, Facebook, and YouTube. Appreciate seeing all of you. And pollen here, another context just to show you most allergy sufferers will feel some issues, and drought is not going to be an issue, as I think Rick asked earlier. So far, we're doing fine in the precipitation department. But on that note, I can show you the precipitation animation this week and how it might not add up to but so much rain, even if we do see some thunderstorms, or at least rumbles of thunder with some of the heavier showers, particularly Wednesday night, I think, is the highest chance. Overall, the rain amounts don't add up to too much, and clouds are kind of off and on this week, but I think that the sunniest days will be on Monday and on Thursday. Charlie, I will keep an eye out on the sound being on and off on Instagram. I wish I had a quick fix for that. It looks like it's functioning on my end. So I will let you know. If it persists, especially next week, then I'll have a bigger worry. But I will let my folks know. Thank you very much. Well, I'm my own folks. I'm my own team, but I'll figure it out for you. PJ, thanks for tuning in. And Pretty and Debbie and Nagel, appreciate seeing you on Instagram. Let's see. Hi, Peter. Thanks so much for tuning in. And Jessica, you're most welcome. I know we all want to plant stuff and get it in the garden, but keep those most sensitive plants kind of in pots that you can bring inside at least through mid-April around the Beltway, and maybe even mid-May if you're out on the I-81 corridor. Marie, you're most welcome. With no snow, the bugs could be a little bit bad earlier in the season. I hate to say it, but hopefully we can not completely throw in the snow towel just yet for the rest of the season. Good night, Charlie. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next week with hopefully great sound there for you on Instagram. It seems to be working for some, but not for everyone. BT and Yasina, thanks for joining. And let's see. Yep, Paul, definitely take the plow off the tractor unless you're along the I-81 corridor. I think you're fairly safe at this point. Greater than 50% chance of not seeing plowable snow around the Beltway and points south and east. But not going to completely throw it in, the towel for just a little bit of accumulating snow. Hi, Steve. Thanks for tuning in from Culpeper. You're ready to stick a fork in winter. You'll enjoy these warm temperatures for the early part of this week. Just wait till you see this. We have soaring into the 60s tomorrow for Monday, and the temperature animation below is going to show you warm colors for the beginning of this week, with flirting potentially with 70 by Wednesday. This comes with increased wind chances Tuesday night, Wednesday, and Thursday as we transition back to cooler conditions behind our cold front Wednesday night. It looks like currently the best guess on timing for that cold front. And then also we kind of see a sneak back into these precipitation chances, shower chances, midday Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe into early Thursday as well, and can't rule out a rumble of thunder or a downpour on Wednesday evening and overnight as well. Paul, good seeing you from Percival. Thanks so much for tuning in. And interesting about Charlene and that report on Instagram. Thanks for that diagnostic. That's fantastic. And all right, I've caught up on Instagram, X, Facebook, and YouTube comments for now. MS Jack and Caro and Mike and Jim, good seeing you on Instagram. All right, Ken Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com on the air another 8 minutes. Your forecast graphically at a glance is just above me. And then further above that, here at CapitalWeatherGang.com, you can find my latest PM update there talking about temperatures soaring into the 60s, most likely tomorrow, low to mid 60s. Then maybe even by Wednesday, we flirt with 70 or so. Maybe can't rule out low 70s, which is making my head explode a little bit. And we'll talk about allergies also making my head explode related to this warm up as well. All right, so wind tomorrow is kind of under control, just so you know that we have a tranquil day tomorrow ahead of kind of windier conditions starting to build on Tuesday and Wednesday. We could see even by Thursday some gusts as high as 40 miles per hour, unfortunately. Now, clouds are kind of off and on this week. I think our sunniest days are likely Monday and Thursday in a relative sense. Not always are we going to see precipitation, but shower chances do increase again on midday Tuesday afternoon. I think, again, Wednesday, more showers possible. The highest chance for some more moderate rains, maybe brief downpours and a rumble of thunder, are Wednesday night as it stands now. And so far, even tonight, we could see a little snowflake or two mix in with rain. Maybe as the cold front is exiting Wednesday night in the highest elevations, we could see a little mix, but accumulations are currently not expected. I know we're all wondering, is it an early spring? And it's controversial, right? We have warm weather lovers on one hand, snow lovers who didn't get their fill this winter. So we're not throwing in snow towel just yet, but so far we're in a pretty spring-like pattern, at least for the beginning part of this week. And yes, thunderstorms are slightly possible. No severe weather currently expected as it stands now. But even with heavier downpours, maybe Wednesday nights, rain amounts overall in the next 7 days only add up to moderate amounts, around a half inch or so. So keep that in mind. We're doing fine in the drought department, which we'll touch on in a second, but moderate amounts of rain, not too much of a disturbance to your outdoor activities this week as well. And honestly, not too much of a rinse out of the atmosphere for these high pollen levels that we're experiencing now, and that we'll touch on in just a second. All right, let's see. Paul, I think even in Purcellville, I don't think you'll need the plow, but if you want to keep it on there and closer to the equinox in March, just in case we do see a big nor'easter, with just enough cold air for plowable snow in Purcellville, you might want to keep it on just in case if you can. If you want to really be risk averse, and maybe we see some snow. How much rain this week, Kenny? Maybe a half inch here pictured below. Records now, or we're not going to touch this week at DCA, David? That's a great question. And Julia, I know your dogs hate snow. I'm so sorry. Hopefully just a couple rumbles of quick thunder this week. All right. What else do we see here? Patty is in Ashburn. Good to see you. And indeed, on one hand, you want more snow, but also you can't really not hate sometimes flirting with 70 degrees on Wednesday. It is hard to pick a lane sometimes, isn't it, Hattie? I love that. Mandu, Charlie, Jan, thanks for tuning in on Instagram and MMC. Looks like I've caught up on all of the comments on Amanda as well. Good to see you on Instagram. All right. Dwayne, I'm not willing to stick a complete fork in winter just yet and completely throw in the towel on all accumulating snow potential into March. It's still there. Snowy times have happened in many recent years of Marches in recent years. So, Dwayne, just enjoy the short-term boost in temperatures, which may extend into next week. When I look ahead, I see kind of next work week leans with high probability being above average there in the warm colors, the darker reds. And even the medium color greens here, we've got a pretty good chance of being above average in the precipitation department next week as well. So it's looking kind of moist, kind of warm overall. But this is both of these graphics. Just so you know, they average over 24-hour periods over the entire week. It smooths out a lot of bumps that we can see in between night and day temperatures and day-to-day changes. But on balance, we're going to lean a little bit moist next week, above average precipitation, and with above average temperatures more likely often than not. And I think our averages now are generally at or just above 50 by the time we get to next work week. So keep that in mind. Pollen is high for the trees. And we'll, need to get those antihistamines out if you haven't already. We definitely are suffering, most of us. Make sure you look at the specific tree species that are kind of featured in the current plume of pollen. And below are more contextual clues of the percentiles. We're at a high percentile, high count, an absolute number count on the pollen scale as well. And the allergy extract lab, allergen lab at the Army also expects most allergy sufferers like me as well, to have some symptoms, even with maybe your specific species of tree is not in the plume, but it's so high for all species, most of us are going to feel it. Related to that, cherry blossoms, the peak prediction, the first announcement will happen on this Thursday. We have not even seen the first of the 6 stages develop for that first green bud on the trees at the tidal basin, so keep managed expectations. We're not talking about blooms anytime soon. But we'll keep you posted at capitalweatherking.com. That's where you can find us 24/7. And above me also, you'll see the droughts.gov update. We're doing fine, the precipitation department. We're not hurting for rain. Maybe North Carolina could use a little bit more. Right now, they're abnormally dry there in the lightest yellow, but no drought to speak of in the region, which is great news. All right, I'm Cameron Walker for capitalweatherking.com, on the air another 2 minutes or so. Let me know if you have any questions or comments on Instagram, X, YouTube, or Facebook. Animation below of the temperatures showing the warm colors. Monday through Wednesday, we're soaring into the 60s, flirting with 70 by Wednesday. My PM update there at the top can be found at capitalweathergang.com. And graphically, you'll see here by Wednesday, we have some good amounts of wind to deal with as well. Gusts near 40 miles per hour can't be ruled out. Jack, thanks for tuning in on Instagram, and S. Peter and Philip and Trish. Have I caught up on any? Here's Kay Lambert. We've got, you're heading the Pacific Northwest. So far, that weather is not going to reach us here in DC. I wish we could, maybe get some more energy for snow lovers as well and cooler air, but great question there. And Meg and Heather, thanks for tuning in on Facebook and Instagram. I've caught up with KJ as well, and Kelly's and R. Johnson. All right, Diana on Facebook. Indeed, you remember the big storms for snow, even around March 22nd and March 23rd. So snow lovers, don't fully throw in the towel until we get near the spring equinox. And Kristen, you have a wonderful week. Thanks so much for tuning in from Facebook. David, you're most welcome as well. Paul, yep, no worries about keeping the plow on just for now until we get closer to the equinox. And how much rain on Tuesday? Beth, not too much, maybe 1/10 of an inch on Tuesday. Wednesday could have a little bit more than Tuesday, and then the heaviest likelihood for heavier precipitation, like heavier showers and downpours, and maybe a rumble of thunder, is Wednesday night as it looks now. Rebecca, you're most welcome, and good to see you there as well, and SC and EM. All right, I've caught up on Instagram, YouTube, X, and Facebook. Let me show you the winds are under control, at least for tomorrow. Enjoy tomorrow's sunny serenity. In a relative sense, it could be a pretty good gem of a day when you think about the week on Friday and look back at the work week. I think Monday is maybe the best day overall, so please try and enjoy it. because we have clouds moving in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Might be a little sunnier on Thursday, but then precipitation kind of gets, these showers move in again, chances midday and afternoon on Tuesday. And then again, Wednesday, chances might head up a little bit more, with the highest chance for, as we were talking about, a downpour or maybe a rumble of thunder Wednesday evening. But stay tuned to capitalweathergame.com. We're trying to get the timing down on this front Wednesday night-ish, but it could adjust a little bit as we get closer. Hey, Kay Lamberton, thanks for tuning in. You start the week really well for yourself as well. Thanks for tuning in from Instagram. And Kathleen and 34 Wonder and Condon, thanks for tuning in as well. And yes, even with the slightest potential for just some everyday rumbles of thunder, probably focused on Wednesday night. Rain amounts don't add up to too much this week, maybe a half inch for most of us, but we're doing fine in the rain department, so that's great news overall. And let's see, let me round off things really quick. Looking still warm and wet even into next work week. Pollen, yep, it is definitely high in the tree department. Allergy sufferers, I am sorry to say, it's going to maybe get a little worse before it gets better with the warmth Monday through Wednesday this week. Flirting with 70 on Wednesday is not going to help things. But related to pollen, we have an update on those cherry trees on the mall coming on Thursday, the 29th. And again, the drought, nothing to speak of in the drought department for our region. All right, let me sign off. I'm over my time. You have a great start to your week. And hang on to your hat when it gets windier Tuesday and Wednesday, even as we get warmer, and the shower chances start building in Tuesday, Wednesday as well. But flirting with 70 is remarkable on Wednesday, perhaps. And then we turn cooler and blustery, probably, Thursday-ish, with some showers again threatening kind of later Friday into Saturday as well. Beth, you're most welcome. Mary, have a great week. Scott, appreciate you as well. And Paul, you're most welcome. And Rebecca and Kathleen on Instagram, good seeing you there as well. All right, I will see you next week for our weekly Sunday Sunset Chat. Camden Walker signing off, wishing you a really good week. And check us out anytime you need us at capitalweathergame.com.